Structure. The TOEFL IBT writing section evaluates your ability to communicate effectively in an academic setting through two consecutive tasks completed within approximately 15 minutes. The task begins with the integrated writing task, which gives you 20 minutes to read a short passage, listen to a lecture, and write a 150 until 225 word summary explaining how they relate. The crucial strategy for this first task is to remain 100% objective. You must never express a personal opinion, as your only goal is to contrast the lecture points against the reading. Immediately following this, you will move to the independent writing text. For this text, you have 30 minutes to write a 300 until 350 word essay expressing and supporting your personal opinion on a specific topic. The best strategy here is to state a clear, decisive thesis statement in your introduction and build well-structured body paragraphs driven by concrete, real-life examples. Each task is scored individually on a rubric scale of 0 to 5, and these are then converted into a final scale score ranging from 0 to 30. To achieve a high score, the most important things you need to study and master are the core rubric criteria, that is, task fulfillment, organization, and language accuracy. The task fulfillment meaning is answering the prompt completely and thoroughly. Organization meaning is maintaining a logical paragraph flow with smoothly transition, and language accuracy is meaning demonstrating grammatical precision and appropriate vocabulary variety. As a golden rule, always prioritize clarity and accuracy over overly complex, risky vocabulary, and remember to save 1 to 2 minutes at the end of each text to proofread for typos. To make things easier, practicing with targeted exercise can significantly enhance your skills and help you become fully accustomed to the TOEFL writing tasks.
Hi, my name is Stephanie, and here I'm going to teach you about task number one, build a sentence. First, what you need to do. There are three key points that you need to keep in mind. First, rearrange the words. In this task, we will be given a set of words arranged in the wrong order. Our main goal is to reorganize them into a correct, grammatically sound, and natural sounding sentence. Second, identify the extra word. Here is the catch. In some cases, there will be one extra word included in the mix. This word is a distractor and does not belong, so we need to be sharp enough to recognize and remove it. Third, manage your time. This task is a task of both speed and accuracy. We will have to answer around 10 questions in just about 6 minutes. That means we have less than a minute per question. So we need to work quickly without sacrificing the accuracy.
In test 1, the most important thing is to find the main subject and the main verb first, because they are the foundation of the sentence. After that, arrange the remaining words in a natural order. Also, pay attention to small grammar details such as articles, prepositions, and verb forms. Finally, check if there is an extra word that make the sentence incorrect. A simple strategy is to work step by step. First, identify who or what the sentence is about. Next, find the main verb. Then, add the remaining details to complete the sentence. Before choosing your answer, read the sentence in your mind. If it sounds natural and grammatically correct, it is probably the right answer.
Now, let's continue with task 2. Write an email and look at what we need to do when writing an email. First, we need to read the situation carefully. Before we start writing, it's important to understand the context, the purpose of the email, and who we're writing to. If we understand the situation first, it's much easier to write a response that actually answers the question. Next, we should write a clear and organized email. A good email usually starts with an opening, then moves on to the main body, and finishes with a closing. Keeping this structure makes the email easier to follow and helps make sure that all the required points are covered. And finally, we need to use appropriate email language. This means using a polite and natural tone that fits the situation. For example, if we're writing to a teacher, the language should be more formal. But if we're writing to a friend or a classmate, the tone can be a little more relaxed while still being respectful.
As we discussed in the previous slide, you already know what you need to do in this task. As you can see in the example on the left, the prompt gives you a situation and 3 points to answer. Think of this as a real email, not just a writing exercise. Imagine that you're writing to a professor, a classmate, or a university office. That's why you should use a normal email format with a greeting, a clear message, a polite closing, and your name. Another important point is that you don't need to use difficult vocabulary to get a good score. TOEFL is looking for clear and appropriate communication, so focus on answering all 3 points clearly and in a logical order. Finally, remember that you only have about 7 minutes, so stay organized and manage your time well.
Now I will explain the simple structure of writing an effective email. There are three important to remember. First, clear subject. The subject line should be short and clear. The reader can immediately understand the purpose of the email. Second, answer all points. Make sure you answer every point mentioned the question or prompt. Do not leave any information unanswered. Third, be clear and polite. Use clear and polite language. Before sending your email, check it carefully to make sure it is easy to understand and free from mistake. Here are some practical tips to help you write a better email. First, read the prompt carefully. Before you start writing, read the instruction carefully and identify all the points that need to be answered. Second, write clearly. Use simple and natural sentences. Focus on making your message easy to understand rather than using difficult vocabulary. Third, check before submitting. Before sending your email, spend about 30 to 60 seconds checking your grammar, spelling, and punctuation.
Now, let's move on to the last task in the TOEFL IBT writing section, which is academic discussion. In this task, you will first read a discussion question about an academic topic. Then, you will read two short responses written by other students. These responses show different opinions about the same topic and help you understand the discussion before writing your own answer. For example, the question might be, should university students be required to do community service? One student may agree because community service helps students become more responsible, while another student may disagree because students already have many assignments and exams. Your job is not to decide which student is right or wrong. Instead, you need to write your own opinion. You can agree with student A, agree with student B, or even give a completely different opinion. What matters is that you explain your ideas clearly. Besides giving your opinion, you also need to support it with reasons. The examiner wants to see not only what you think, but also why you think that way. Your response should be clear, organized, and easy to understand. And for the last, remember that you only have about 10 minutes for this task, so you do not need to write a long response. A short but well-developed answer is usually much better than a long answer with unclear ideas. Now that we know what we need to do, let's talk about how to approach this task. The first strategy is to choose your position quickly. Don't spend too much time deciding whether you agree or disagree. There's no correct answer in this task. The important thing is to explain your opinion well. After choosing your opinion, focus on one or two strong reasons. Many students think that writing more ideas will give them a higher score, but that is not always true. It is much better to explain one idea clearly than to mention many ideas without enough explanation. For example, if you agree that community service is important, you can simply say, I agree, because it teaches teamwork. Then explain it with a simple example, such as students learn how to work with different people during volunteer activities. A simple example like this makes your answer more convincing and easier to understand. Another important strategy is to stay focused on the question. Every sentence should support your main opinion, so avoid adding ideas that are not related to the topic because they can make your response less organized. And finally, remember that you do not need difficult vocabulary or complicated grammar. Using simple natural English with correct grammar is much better than writing long sentences that are hard to understand. In the TOEFL writing section, clarity is always more important than complexity.
A good structure helps readers understand our ideas step by step. First, state your opinion. Start with a clear sentence that answers the question directly. This lets the reader know your position from the beginning. Next, give your reasons. Explain why you have that opinion. One or two clear reasons are enough, as long as they are relevant and well explained. Then provide an example. And examples make your argument more convincing. It can come from your personal experience, something you observe, or a real life situation. Finally, and strongly, finish with a short conclusion that restates your opinion. A strong ending reminds the reader of your main point and gives your writing a clear conclusion. Now, let's talk about some practical tips to improve our writing. These tips are simple, but they can help us write more effectively. First, choose quickly. Decide your opinion without overthinking, so you have more time to develop your ideas. Second, use personal examples. Personal experience make your writing more natural and help support your opinion. Third, write clearly. Use simple and correct sentences. You don't need difficult vocabulary if it makes your writing confusing. Finally, prioritize clarity. The main goal of writing is to communicate your ideas clearly. If your message is easy to understand, your writing will be much more effective.
First, in time management, we need to manage our time well so we can finish all tasks on time. In writing, we can divide our time to make sentences, develop ideas, and check our answer. The most important thing is to stay focused and not spend too much time on one part. Second, some common challenges in writing are spending too much time on one task, forgetting important points, or using the wrong words. Sometimes we also give opinion without clear examples. Therefore, we need to be more careful and organize our writing better. Third, to prepare effectively, we can practice writing regularly and use a time limit to improve our skills. We also need to pay attention to grammar, learn how to explain ideas with simple examples, and review our mistakes to make better improvement. In conclusion, writing skills can improve if we manage our time, write clearly, and practice regularly. A simple and organized answer is better than a long answer that is difficult to understand. With consistent practice, our TOEFL writing skills can improve.